Hello everyone! What do you think is the most common type of accident at construction sites? Yes, it's falls. According to industrial accident statistics in our country, there are still thousands of fall incidents in the construction industry every year. Various causes such as sleeping from work platforms, untreated openings, lack of safety rails, or not wearing protective gear led to large and small accidents. Especially in the construction industry, which involves a lot of high-altitude work, a single mistake can result in fatal consequences, making prevention and thorough safety management more important than anything else. 다음 찬스의 챕터. In this lecture, we will explore the common types of fall accidents that occur on construction sites, their fundamental causes, and the necessary safety management measures and protection standards that must be observed on site to prevent such accidents. We will not just cover theoretical content, but also look at real-field examples to understand why such safety standards are in place and which aspects require special attention. Now, let's officially start the lecture. A fall accident cannot be viewed merely as an accident of falling from a high place. So, at construction sites, various factors like the height of structures, the condition of the scaffolding, and the movements of workers interact to cause incidents. For example, if scaffolding is not secured, there are no railings, and small mistakes during work accumulate, it can lead to a major accident. Ultimately, a fall is not caused by a single mistake, but by the combination of environment and actions. Therefore, the key to prevention is to predict where a fall might occur in advance and eliminate that possibility beforehand. A fall accident is not a problem limited to certain sections or processes. It is a common disaster that can occur at any stage of construction work. There is a risk of falling during the foundation construction, frame installation, exterior installation, or finishing work. For instance, losing balance on rebar, or a swaying scaffold, working on an open hole without a cover, or on a slippery roof can lead to an accident from even a minor mistake. The complacency in thinking that a height is safe is the most dangerous, and all work should be prepared with the assumption that a fall can occur. From now on, we will focus on places where fall accidents occur frequently. Scaffolding is most commonly used for exterior wall construction, painting, and plastering work, but there is a high risk of falling due to issues like loose connections, platform damage, and lack of railing installation. If even one of these three components is missing, the likelihood of an accident increases significantly, and since the structure serves as the foundation for high-altitude work, thorough inspections and installations are required. Platforms are also spaces where fall accidents frequently occur. When working on pipes or electrical wires in a narrow area, it's easy to lose balance, especially if the width is less than 40 centimeters or if it's unstable, which greatly increases the risk of accidents. A steady structure and sufficient width are essential. Ladders and mobile work platforms are also equipment where accidents frequently occur. When factors such as insufficient anti-slip measures, unbalanced floors, and habits like one-handed work act together, the risk of falling increases. As temporary setups are often used, it's crucial to inspect the condition before installation. An opening is an area in the floor or wall that is punctured, such as slabs, elevators, and shafts, and it is often dangerous because temporary covers are either damaged or completely absent. Workers, especially those working on lower floors, often let their guard down and fall due to carelessness. Roof or sloped surface work is prone to slipping accidents due to strong winds, moisture, or leaves. In processes like waterproofing or replacing roof panels where footing is unstable, extra caution is required. Steel structures and areas around tower cranes are frequent fall zones as well. Moving between steel frames without wearing a safety belt or working from an aerial work platform without secure railings can easily lead to falls due to equipment shaking. Fall accidents cannot be seen as just accidents from high places. It is generally known that falls from more than 2 meters can be fatal, but in reality, even from less than 1 meter, a strong impact to the head or neck can result in death. The head, in particular, is the most vulnerable part of the body and can suffer fatal injuries from momentary impacts. However, at the scene, people often become complacent, thinking it's safe because it's a low height. The risk of falling varies depending on the direction of the fall, the object you hit, and the impact area rather than the height. Therefore, in any environment where there is a possibility of falling, safety equipment and protective gear must be worn regardless of height. A fall accident doesn't just end with someone falling. Fractures or injuries to key areas such as the head, spine, and legs pose a direct threat to life, and especially damage to the head or spine can be difficult to recover from and may leave lifelong after effects. Therefore, falls are classified as the type of industrial accident with the highest mortality rate. Even if one survives, returning to the field is difficult due to disabilities or long-term rehabilitation needs, and a single accident can change a person's entire life. Such accidents do not only cause personal misfortune, but also lead to work stoppages, process delays, equipment damage, and reduce worker morale, significantly affecting the overall productivity and safety culture of the workplace. Therefore, a fall accident should be recognized as a serious disaster that measures the overall level of safety management at the site, not just a single person's mistake, and thoroughly prepared for. Fall accidents are the most frequently occurring major disasters in industrial sites. According to the Korea Occupational Safety and Health Agency, about 30 to 40% of industrial accident deaths each year are due to falls, drops, and collapses. In the construction industry, where there is a lot of high-altitude work, more than 200 people die from falls every year. Most of these accidents stem from very simple causes such as failure to install railings, not wearing protective gear, and not following basic rules. In other words, fall accidents don't happen because of bad luck, but due to the lack of prevention. By following basic safety measures, most accidents can be prevented. The reason fall accidents continue to happen in the construction industry is that basic safety regulations are not followed. There are many structural problems such as scaffold defects, platform cracks, and the lack of installation of opening covers, and it is also common for harnesses or safety belts to be worn incorrectly or not at all. The main reasons for repeated accidents are the complacency that it will be over soon and the lack of supervision. The government and the Korea Occupational Safety and Health Agency are promoting campaigns such as the Zero Fall Accident campaign, but still, most accidents are human errors that could have been prevented by just following the basics. Ultimately, thoroughly implementing basic procedures like wearing protective gear, inspecting structures, and planning work is the only solution. This time, let's look at a real accident case to see how serious the consequences of a fall accident can be. On February 25, 2025, an accident occurred at the Sejong Expressway construction site in Seoul where a bridge collapsed. 5 50-meter-long steel girders fell simultaneously, causing 10 workers to fall. Among them, 4 died and 6 were seriously injured. The cause of the accident was found to be a combination of factors, including failure to distribute load, faulty construction of formwork supports, lack of safety guardrails, and insufficient inspections. This accident was not a simple mistake, but a disaster resulting from a failure in the site management system, showing how crucial structural stability, pre-inspections, and controlling danger zones are. In October 2024, an accident occurred at a hotel in Yeongjongdo, Incheon, where a worker fell to their death from a 12-story high shaft during an elevator replacement. The cause was the failure to observe basic safety measures in a cramped work environment with almost no room to step. In high-altitude work like this, fall prevention equipment and protective gear are essential, but basic procedures like these are often skipped in the field. This accident is an example showing that minor negligence can lead to fatal results. Working at heights cannot guarantee safety without thorough preparation and inspection. The April 2025 collapse accident at Anseong Logistics Warehouse was a major fall accident caused by poor structural integrity and inadequate safety management. Despite the use of illegal temporary supports, construction was pushed forward. The structure collapsed, causing 5 workers to fall, resulting in 3 fatalities. The causes of the accident were identified as inadequate load support, lack of safety railings, and insufficient supervision. To prevent such accidents, it is essential to use materials that meet legal standards, install railings in high-altitude work areas, conduct regular inspections of structures, and control dangerous zones. This case was not a simple mistake, but the result of a comprehensive failure in safety management. Fall accidents at construction sites often stem from structural or environmental issues rather than mere mistakes. Narrow or corroded planks, missing or too low railings, uncovered or loosely fixed openings all increase the risk of falls. In addition, if the walking surface is wet or slippery due to dust and debris, the likelihood of accidents is even higher. Because structure and environment interact in a complex way, thorough pre-inspection and regular corrective actions are absolutely necessary. Fall accidents frequently happen due to equipment issues. Scaffolding, ladders, supports, and the like are not just simple tools, but structures that support life. However, if they are installed unstably or the connections are loose, they can easily shake or collapse, leading to accidents. Ladders can also slip or fall if not secured. In most cases, the cause is poor installation management rather than the equipment itself. Therefore, it is essential to check in advance the stability of scaffolding, the fixation of ladders, and whether the joints are secured. All equipment should be treated as safety devices. Falls often occur when work procedures are ignored. The risk of accidents increases especially when working at height or around openings without setting a path or order and working impulsively. There are also many cases where work starts without managerial approval or risk assessment is just formally passed. These problems ultimately stem from a lack of preparation and disregard for procedures. Therefore, before starting work, planning, approval, and a risk assessment tailored to the actual site must be carried out. The site should be managed systematically rather than by intuition. Even if the structure or equipment is well set up, if workers' awareness and behavior do not follow suit, fall accidents will still occur. A common cause is the non-use or improper use of protective equipment. Even if you wear a harness, if the rope length or fixed position is wrong, the protective effect is reduced. Mistakes occur when working in a state of concentration drift due to work pressure, fatigue, and decreased attention. In particular, new workers and daily workers are more vulnerable as they are not familiar with equipment or handling dangers. In the end, it is important to instill the awareness that individual actions are directly linked to the overall safety of the site through regular safety education and repeated training. One of the fundamental causes of fall accidents is inadequate management and supervision. If inspections are insufficient, it is easy to miss cracks or corrosion, and if only formal inspections are repeated, there is almost no effect in preventing accidents. Sites that are inspected without a checklist or have unclear standards can easily lead to accidents even from small defects. Additionally, if the safety budget is insufficient, worn-out scaffolding or broken equipment will continue to be used, and if this situation repeats, it ultimately leads to casualties. Especially if the site manager does not stop work despite knowing the risks or neglects to patrol, the safety management system will effectively collapse. Therefore, it is essential to clearly define the inspection cycle, secure a mandatory safety budget, and establish a system where supervisors are given substantial authority and responsibility to prevent accidents. Many fall accidents begin not during the work, but in the design or planning stages. Therefore, it is necessary to incorporate safety into the design from the beginning. It is effective to change the method to assemble and install exterior panels or ceiling attachments on the ground to reduce high-altitude work. Also, railings, platforms, safety nets, and other protective installations must be accurately reflected in the design plans, not just temporarily set up on site. Before starting work, identify movement paths and fall risk areas in advance to prepare protective equipment and reinforcement structures. High-risk work must go through a work plan and permit procedures. This preparation is not just a procedure, but a key process in controlling the risk of falling. One of the main causes of the fall accident is poor supervision. This should be seen as a structural issue where the on-site safety management system is not functioning properly rather than a simple personal mistake. Regina, when regular inspections are skipped or only done formally, it is easy to miss early risk factors such as structural cracks or corrosion. Inspections may proceed without checklists or clear standards, and due to a lack of safety budget, outdated equipment is often still in use. The biggest issue is the supervisor's evasion of responsibility. If you discover a hazard and do not take action or neglect site inspections, the safety management system is bound to collapse. Therefore, establishing inspection cycles, securing budgets, and granting actual authority to supervisors must be implemented. Safety can only be ensured when the on-site system operates, not just through individual caution. Personal protective equipment and safety devices are key means to prevent falls. No matter how strong a structure is, it is difficult to protect a worker's life if they do not wear protective gear. Wearing a full body harness is essential when working at heights. It supports both the upper and lower body to distribute the impact, and the connecting link must be securely fixed to a structure that can withstand the impact. Wearing just a waist belt or hooking on anywhere is pointless. While moving, it's better to set up vertical and horizontal lifelines and keep the harness continuously connected using sliding type connectors. Use ropes, carabiners, and shock absorbers according to the standards. And in areas where friction could occur, use protective sleeves as well. Equipment should be visually inspected daily, and any worn, damaged, or expired equipment must be replaced immediately. After all, protective gear is not just a tool, but a lifeline. Only by thoroughly managing the wearing, connection, and condition inspection can real fall prevention be achieved. Supervision and operation stages are key to maintaining site safety. Major structures such as scaffolds, platforms, connections, and safety nets should be inspected and recorded regularly with attention not only to visual checks but also to structural anomalies. High-risk open space work should apply a safety work permit system and can only proceed after managerial inspection and written approval. Safety training is conducted with a focus on practical activities such as harness usage and fall response. New or temporary workers must receive training before they begin. Managers should have the authority and responsibility to immediately stop work and take action if a hazard arises. Repeated hazards should be recorded and used for prevention. It is also important to establish a system where workers can anonymously report risks and be protected from any disadvantages. Safety on site is maintained when inspection, permits, education, responsibility, and participation work together. In this lecture, we looked at the prevalence of fall accidents at construction sites and the measures to prevent them. More than half of fatalities and injuries are caused by falls, mostly due to accidents resulting from basic rule violations such as poor scaffolding, lack of covers, and not wearing protective gear. That's why I emphasize the importance of practicing the basics. By consistently repeating measures like pre-work inspections, wearing protective gear, following planned procedures, and installing guardrails, accidents can be prevented. Moreover, safety is not just an individual's responsibility. One action of mine, one word to a colleague, can be the starting point for creating a safety culture at the entire site. Please always practice the principle that safety comes first on site.